Hey folks, Sam here with Sam Wood Outdoors. This is my very first vlog. I'm not a blogger, I don't like to type, but I can sure run my mouth and give you my opinion and talk about a subject. And just remember, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one and they all stink. So you might not agree with mine, but I'm at least going to let you hear what it is. So anyways, my very first vlog, I was like, what can it be? What can it be? Oh, it's got to be like boom, bang. It's got to be all inspirational and maybe exciting and bullshit. It's not going to be, because I thought about it and I'm like, you know, I just got to have that very first one. It's got to have some meaning behind it and kind of tie everything together. So I'm going to talk to you about conservation and what kind of role I think I play, or as hunters and trappers and fishermen, what we play, and what the role non-hunters play, and the roles that the antis think they play. So anyways, let's get started. Conservation. We need the definition. So I looked it up, and here it is. Conservation is the preservation, protection, and restoration of a natural environment, ecosystem, vegetation, or wildlife. And wow. As hunters, we fit into that role. So we are conservationists. But there's something missing from that definition, I believe. And I think that is education. We need to educate people as to why we are conservationists and the key role that we play in conservation. And who do we got to educate? Well, we're not going to educate the radicals or the anti-hunters and the anti-trappers, because, you know, to be honest, them people are just freaking crazy. But we can educate the non-hunters and the non-trappers. And can non-hunters and non-trappers be conservationists? For sure. They can help in the preservation of an environment. They can help with habitat restoration. There's a lot of things non-hunters can do. But I think they also have to understand that we have to kill an animal in order to save an animal. It might not have always been that way, but it is today. Because here's the realistic part of this. Most of these animals don't live in their natural environment. The natural environment, what they are native to and where they thrived, no longer exists. We're never going to have the herds of buffalo that are going to take 4 days to go past. You know, we're not going to have wolves just roaming everywhere. We're not going to have big deer herds everywhere. You know, what we have is today's natural environment. And in order to have wolves and buffalo and deer and turkeys and all of that, we have to manage the environment we have today. And yes, humans are the number one reason that everything got screwed up. So, but humans are also the number one thing that can help it today. So, you know, people got to understand, you know, we have to kill a wolf in order to have wolves tomorrow, because otherwise they're going to eat themselves out of today's natural environment. They're going to get overpopulated in today's natural environment. So as conservationists, as hunters and trappers, we play a very key role in the protection of the environment, the preservation of the environment, and maybe not the restoration, but the management. Game management is a key part of conservation. So how do non-hunters fit in? Well, they can, like I said, they can take care of restoration, they can take care of preservation and stuff like that. But we, as hunters and trappers and fishermen, we need to educate them people, because they're not against us. They want the same thing we do. I want wolves there tomorrow so my kids can see them, or my grandkids can see them, and maybe have the opportunity to harvest one, kill one. And there's nothing wrong if conservation is done correctly. Hunters can harvest trophy animals, or the animal of their choice. But there's a lot of cases where we have to put an age requirement on it, or we have to put a sex requirement on it, or we have to put a population goal, and we got to shoot everything that comes until we get to that goal. So, you know, there's a lot of things that go into game management. There's a thing out there now. I seen some coyotes. They were just thrown in a ditch in a pile, and some hunters are just like freaking out. And I get that. There's a lot of hunters that say, attack me for being a trapper and call me lazy or this and that. The other thing, what they don't understand is predator management is also a key part. And it's really coming to light with the wolf population growing and the coyote population growing. And it's really hurting the deer herd in a lot of places. And now we have a lot of deer hunters that have turned into coyote hunters and are turned into coyote trappers. But are these guys that are coyote hunters that just shoot a coyote and have no use for it? Are they conservationists? Hell yeah, they are. And we need to educate them that there's a market, or there's probably somebody who would take that coyote. But look at me. We just take the big cat issue. I got no real use for a cat, except for maybe coyote bait. But removing a cat who is not part of the natural environment, as an invasive species, removing that cat is very important to balancing and protecting and preserving the natural environment we have today. So let's try to educate the non-hunters and the non-trappers as to our role, and let's do it in a respectful manner. And I think we can bridge a gap that's there, because it's not too big of a gap. That being said, are anti-hunters and anti-trappers conservationists? Hell no, they don't have a clue. They think they're protecting a natural environment. We're going to protect the wolf, or we're going to outlaw hunting because we got to protect the animals. That is so far off from what conservation is. It's crazy, and it doesn't even pay to argue with them people, because you're never going to change their mind. I mean, let's just face it. They're out of touch with reality, and there's really no nice way to put that. But when you are, don't pass up an opportunity to debate one of them people. Just don't get in the big piss and match. Don't get in the name calling. Use education, because here's the thing. In today's social media, your reach is further than just that one person. Even though it's online, think of you in a crowded mall or just a big crowded area, and you're having a conversation with this person, and it's going to get heated. But a lot of other people are going to hear what you're saying. They're going to hear what they're saying. So if you use that opportunity, you do it correctly, you're going to reach a lot of people. And that's why I think today we're missing out on the education part of the being conservationists. And we're being taught to be that way, and I'm trying to buck the system. We get people saying don't show any catch pictures trapping, don't show any dispatch, don't show a deer with his tongue hanging out. We have all of these things today that we're being taught by our hunting and trapping community that is really teaching us to be these pacifists and say, don't give them ammo, don't give them ammo. Well, by not doing nothing, they're making their own ammo. So take the opportunity to educate the non-hunters, and a lot of times by educating the non-hunters, I mean having a civilized debate with an anti. You're never going to change their mind, but you can expose them for the propaganda and bullshit that they use, and their idiotic thoughts about all of this. And you can really teach people that we do have to kill an animal to save an animal sometimes, and we can teach them that we're not all these barbaric, bloodthirsty killers. It's okay to kill, and it's okay to be proud of your kill. And people don't understand. I'm not necessarily in it for the kill, but the kill is definitely part of it, and you can't hide that. So that's really, there it is, guys. I got to keep these things under 10 minutes. Hopefully we can have a little bit of a conversation down below in the comments section. But there it is, guys. Conservation and what we play, what role we play as hunters and trappers and stuff like that. And remember, the one part of the definition of conservation that's missing is education. Thanks for watching, guys. See you tomorrow.